easy. I'll mention someone like Abraham Lincoln. And you look up and say, now there's a man who really stood up for his principles.
I have my own things to bring up at dinner. I don't want to get into discussion about Abraham Lincoln.
Not his whole life, just his principles.
Why would I do such a stupid thing?
Because as of tomorrow, I'm unemployed. Unless someone other than me mentions sticking up for your principles.
What happened? Did you get fired?
I will be unless I give Kaiser Wilhelm a letter of apology. It's really up to my old man. I decided to do whatever he tells me.
When are you going to ask him?
Tonight, right after dinner.
Tonight? Does it have to be tonight?
That's the deadline. I have to give my answer to Mr. Stroheim in the morning. Why?
Could you ask your father in the morning?
He gets up at 5:30. My mother has to line up his shoes at night because he can't make decisions at 5:30. What's wrong, Nora?
I don't know what you have to complain about. At least your father is alive and around the house to make decisions. You don't know when you're well off, Stanley. Sometimes you make me sick.
Chapter 7, the infamous dinner. It all started out like a murder mystery in Blenheim Castle. No one said a word, but everyone looked suspicious. You could hear Lori's soup going down her esophagus. Everyone had one eye on the plates and their other eye on Pop, except me. I sat opposite Nora. I kept dropping my napkin a lot, so I'd bend over and get a good look at those white, virginal, creamy white legs of hers. She must have been really deep in thought because she left herself unguarded a couple of times. I got to see halfway up her thighs that led to the Golden Palace of the Himalayas.
Eugene, keep your napkin on your lap and stop daydreaming.
Well, Stanley knew what I was doing because he's the one who taught it to me. But he was too busy with his own problems like everyone else. I could hear the clock ticking in the kitchen. The tension in the air was so thick, you could cut it with a knife. Which is more than I can say about my liver.
Ketchup, mustard, pickles.
I'm through, I'll help what you say.
Finish your liver.
No, I'm finished. Do you see any liver on my plate?
You're burying under the mashed potatoes. I know your tricks. Look how Lori's eating hers.
I had a major problem. One more bite and I would have thrown up on the table. That's a sight Nora would have remembered forever. The diversion was my only escape from humiliation. So, how are things down at Stroheim, Stan?
How long you been working there now? Where? At Stroheim's.
At Stroheim's, part-time a year and a half before I graduated high school and a year since then.
So what's that?
2.5 years now, part-time.
He likes you? Who? Mr. Stroheim.
Yeah, usually he likes me. Sometimes I'm not sure.
You coming on time?
Yeah.
You do your work?
Yeah.
You get along with the other people?
Yeah.
So why shouldn't he like you? How much you making now?
$17 a week.
It's time you moved up. Tomorrow morning you go in and ask him for a raise.
A raise?
Don't speak up for yourself. People take advantage of you. Tomorrow morning you go into his office. You're polite. You're respectful. But you're firm. You say you think you're worth another $5 a week.
$5?
He'll offer $1.25. You'll settle for $2.50. You know how these things work. You're a high school graduate. He's lucky he's got you.
I don't think this is the time to ask him for a raise, Papa. I think his wife is very sick.
You're free to ask him. You want me to take you by the hand and walk into that office and say, my little boy wants a raise?
I'm not afraid.
Your father wouldn't ask you if he didn't think it was the right thing. Believe me, Stanley, now is the time to ask him.
Well, I think I have a bone in my throat.
There are no bones in liver.
So, what's new at dancing school, Nora?
Nothing is. You mind your own business.
I'm just trying to introduce the subject.
I don't need your help. Will you tell her to be quiet, Mother?
If you are finished, you may be excused, Lori.
What happened to dancing school?
Nora received a very nice compliment from her teacher. He said that she had professional potential.
He didn't say potential. Potential is the future. Mr. Beckman is interested in Nora's immediate present.
Isn't that something? Mr. Beckman is your teacher?
No. He's one of the most widely known and respected producers on Broadway.
Broadway. That's wonderful. Imagine that. So how are we doing in school otherwise?
Doing just fine.
She's doing very well.
I wish I was as smart as she is.
Isn't that the same Mr. Beckman who's producing that great Broadway extravaganza, Abracadabra? Now, if a girl gets hired for a show like that, not only is a career practically guaranteed, but the experience she gains is equal to a 4-year college education.
Eugene, that's enough.
Only a 4-year college education is equal to a 4-year college education.
I don't think Abraham Lincoln went to college.
What about you, Laurie? You feeling all right?
Yes, Uncle Jack.
Getting plenty of fresh air?
As much as I can hold in my lungs. Nora, did you tell Uncle Jack about the big tank that's filled with water?
Girls, please, let's let Uncle Jack finish his dinner. If we have something to discuss, we will discuss it later.
Somebody has something to discuss? If there's a problem, this is the time to bring it up. This is the family hour.
Family hour. What a great idea for a radio show. Every Wednesday night you hear a different family discussing their problems of the week. And you get to get different recipes too. WEAF presents Dinner at Brighton Beach, starring the Jacob Jerome family. Tonight's specialty, live-in cabbage. Brought to you by X-Lax, the mild last.
Country wants to hear about a 15-year-old boy gagging on liver?
Nothing to discuss? Nobody has any problems? Otherwise, I want to turn on the news.
Well, as a matter of fact.
What?
Well, through all public dishes.
You'll sit there and finish your liver.
Can't swallow it, it won't go down. Remember the lima bean catastrophe last month? They